There is a number sitting in your bank account right now that has nothing to do with how much money you earn. It's not your salary, it's not your job title, it's not even the economy. It's a number written in your mind years before you ever opened a bank account. And until you find it, you will keep losing money in ways you can't even see. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where that number came from, and more importantly, how to rewrite it. Most people believe they're broke because they don't make enough money. It feels true. It feels obvious. More income should equal more wealth. But here's the uncomfortable pattern that shows up again and again in every income bracket, every profession, every country. People who double their income rarely double their savings. Many don't save a single extra dollar. Give a person earning $40,000 a year a raise to $80,000, and within 18 months, their expenses have usually grown to match it. Bigger apartment, newer car, more takeout, more subscriptions. The number in the bank account barely moves. This isn't bad luck. It isn't a coincidence. It's a predictable, almost mathematical outcome of something psychologists call lifestyle creep. And it explains why NBA players who earned hundreds of millions across their careers have filed for bankruptcy within 5 years of retirement, and why lottery winners, handed life-changing sums overnight, frequently end up back where they started, or worse. If money problems were only about income, these stories wouldn't exist. So if it's not about how much you earn, what is it about? Picture a child, 7 years old, standing near the kitchen table while their parents argue about a bill. They don't understand the numbers, they don't understand the debt, but they understand the fear in the room. They understand that money means tension, scarcity, danger. That child grows up. They get a job, they start earning, and without ever deciding to, they carry that same tension into every financial decision they make, spending too fast to escape the discomfort of having money, or hoarding too tightly out of a fear that it will disappear. Now picture a different child. Money was never discussed at all. It simply appeared and was simply spent. No planning, no conversation, no framework, just consumption as the default state of life. That child grows up believing money is meant to be used the moment it arrives, because that's the only model they were ever shown. Neither child chose these beliefs. They absorbed them, the way you absorb a native language, before they were even old enough to question them. This is called a money blueprint, and it's one of the most quietly destructive forces in personal finance because it operates beneath conscious thought. You don't decide to sabotage your savings account. You just find yourself, again and again, doing something that feels like a small, reasonable choice in the moment, but adds up to the same result every single time. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Most people never examine this blueprint. They just keep blaming the economy, the job market, the price of eggs, anything external, while the real program keeps running quietly in the background. There is a strange kind of danger that doesn't look like danger at all. It looks like stability. A steady paycheck, a job you've had for years, a routine you've mastered. On the surface, this looks like safety, but comfort and safety are not the same thing, and confusing the two is one of the most expensive mistakes a person can make. Comfort tells you not to ask for a raise because the conversation feels risky. Comfort tells you not to start the side business because failure would feel embarrassing. Comfort tells you the current version of your life is acceptable, even when a part of you knows it isn't. Kodak invented the digital camera in 1975. Their own engineer built it, and the company shelved the idea because protecting their comfortable, profitable film business felt safer than disrupting it themselves. Blockbuster was offered the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million and turned it down because the video rental model was working just fine, until it wasn't. These aren't just corporate case studies, they're mirrors, because the same instinct that killed Kodak and Blockbuster lives in individual financial decisions every day. The choice to stay in the underpaying job, to avoid learning the new skill, to never ask the uncomfortable question about a raise or a better opportunity because the current discomfort feels smaller than the risk of change. Comfort has a cost. It just doesn't send you a bill immediately. It sends you the bill in 10 years, when you look up and realize everyone who took the uncomfortable path is now living a completely different life than yours. Here's a question almost nobody can answer honestly. Where did last month's money actually go? Not the rent, not the bills, the rest of it. The in-between spending, the coffee, the delivery fees, the impulse purchase at 11 at night, the subscription you forgot you had. This is called invisible spending, and it's invisible by design. Every one of those purchases is small enough to feel harmless in isolation. $5 here, $12 there, nothing that would ever show up as a single alarming transaction. But money doesn't disappear in single alarming transactions. It disappears in hundreds of forgettable ones. A $5 daily coffee habit isn't really $5. Multiplied across a year, it's well over 1,000. A handful of unused subscriptions, each one individually trivial, can quietly drain hundreds of dollars annually from an account that never seems to grow. None of these purchases feel like a financial decision. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. They never trigger the part of your brain that says, wait, should I actually be doing this? Compare this to buying a car, a decision your brain treats seriously, weighing options, comparing prices, sleeping on it. Now compare it to the 40th delivery order this month made in under 10 seconds because you were tired and didn't want to cook. Same category, spending money, completely different level of scrutiny. The wealthy don't necessarily spend less. Often they spend more in absolute terms, but they spend consciously on things they've decided matter, and they eliminate the small leaks that produce no lasting value. The broke and the wealthy aren't always separated by income. They're often separated by awareness. Now here's where things shift from mindset into mechanics, because even someone with perfect awareness and perfect discipline can stay stuck if they misunderstand this next idea. Most people think in terms of what they own: a house, a car, a closet full of things with price tags attached. And on paper, this can look like wealth, but ownership and wealth are not the same thing, and confusing them is one of the most common traps in personal finance. There's a simple distinction that changes everything once you actually internalize it. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the entire test. A car you drive to work isn't neutral, it's a liability. It loses value every year, and it costs you in gas, insurance, and repairs every month, whether you use it or not. A house you live in isn't automatically an asset either. If it's costing you a mortgage, taxes, and maintenance every month with no income coming back, it's functioning as a liability, no matter how much the real estate agent insisted it was an investment. Meanwhile, a small rental property generating monthly income is an asset. A dividend-paying set of shares is an asset. A skill that lets you charge more for your time is, in a very real sense, an asset too. Most people spend their entire working lives accumulating liabilities that look impressive from the outside: the car, the house, the wardrobe, while accumulating almost nothing that actually produces income. They call this building a life. What they've actually built is a very expensive treadmill, one that requires their paycheck to keep functioning every single month forever. The wealthy build differently. They acquire assets first and let those assets eventually purchase the liabilities: the car, the vacation, the nicer house, instead of purchasing liabilities directly out of a paycheck that has to be earned all over again next month. There's a reason financial advisors call compound interest one of the most powerful forces in personal finance, and it has nothing to do with luck or timing the market perfectly. Imagine two people. One starts investing a modest amount every month at age 25. The other waits until 35 to start and invests the exact same monthly amount, trying to catch up. Even though the second person invests fewer years total, mathematically they will likely never fully catch up to the first person's 10-year head start, because that early money had 10 additional years to grow on top of itself. This is called compounding, growth building on top of previous growth, quietly, invisibly for years, until suddenly it isn't invisible anymore. The problem is that compounding is boring in year 1. It's boring in year 3. It barely feels like it's working at all in year 5. This is precisely why most people quit before it ever pays off. They're waiting for a dramatic result from a process that is deliberately, mathematically undramatic in its early stages. Being broke isn't usually a single catastrophic decision. It's 1,000 small decisions, repeated, compounding in the wrong direction, just as building wealth is 1,000 small decisions compounding in the right one. So if you've watched this far, here's the honest answer to the question in the title. You're not broke because of your job. You're not broke because of the economy, or bad luck, or a system that's rigged against you. Those forces are real, and they matter, but they're not the whole story, and they're certainly not the part of the story you have any control over. You're broke because of an invisible blueprint you never chose, comfort you mistook for safety, spending you never learned to see, liabilities you mistook for assets, and compounding process you gave up on before it had time to work. Every one of those things can be rewritten, not overnight, not with a single decision made while watching a video, but through the same mechanism that built the problem in the first place. Small, repeated choices compounding quietly until one day the number in your account reflects a completely different blueprint than the one you started with. The real question was never, why am I still broke? It was always, what have I been unconsciously choosing every single day without ever noticing I had a choice at all? If this changed the way you think about money, even slightly, subscribe for more. This channel exists to hand you the blueprint nobody sat you down and explained. And before you go, what's one invisible spending habit you just realized you have? Say it in the comments. Naming it is the first step to breaking it.